Hello everyone, welcome to the Financial Information channel. My name is Marvin. In this video I'm going to recap the stock earnings that have happened during the last 2 days. And we're going to start with the video with the first company, that is Hasbro. Now Hasbro had a good earnings. It beat the EPS by 11 cents and the revenue by 10 millions. Their revenue year to year 6.5%. And just like I mentioned the weekly stock earnings, the most important thing was the guidance, and the company didn't have good guidance. Hasbro is expecting to have a revenue growth for the next quarter anywhere between 4 to 7%. Most analysts had the revenue expected for the next quarter over 11%. Now Hasbro started to mention that Toys R Us was the main reason that the guidance was a little bit low. You have to keep in mind that Toys R Us accounts for 9% of the Hasbro total revenue. And when Hasbro started to mention that guidance, the company shares started to move down a huge amount. I do think that the company will recover. Just to look at an example, Marvel is going to release 8 movies in 2018 and that is going to improve the revenue for the company. And I'm going to put on the screen the stock weekly chart for Hasbro from 2012 to the present. And as you can see in the chart, the company has been moving up during the last few years. And even though the last 2 quarters haven't been that good, I think the company will recover. Now let's go for the next company, which is Logitech. Now I had high hope for this company because the last quarter they reported a really good quarter and the company shares moved down. Now Logitech had another really good quarter. It beat the EPS by 5 cents and the revenue by 14.6 millions. So the company actually had a really good quarter, but the share price moved down a huge amount. The only thing that I found really bad about the quarter is that the gross profit was 37% last year, and this year it actually moved down to 36.6%. And that was the only thing negative about the earnings, and the guidance wasn't as strong as most analysts expected. Now in terms of sales, they mentioned that the gaming gear was up about 44% and the video collaboration sales were up 61%. Now for this company, I'm gonna take a look at the stock chart in the future. Now let's take a look at the next company that reported, and that is Triple M. And that company had another really good quarter. It beat the EPS by 12 cents and it beat the revenue by 240 millions. The revenue year to year 6%. But the most important thing, they expect to have a better guidance for the next quarter. And now for the next company is gonna be Advanced Micro Devices, which is AMD. Now for AMD, they beat the EPS and revenue. The company beat the EPS by 2 cents and the revenue by 130 millions. The revenue year to year is 25.2%. Now for AMD, the company shares price moved down over 10%. And the reason is simple, the guidance was really bad. AMD expects to have a revenue decrease over 15% for the next quarter. Usually the best quarter is going to be the 4th quarter for semiconductor companies. So when the company announced that type of guidance, the shares started to move down. I am going to go more in depth about AMD in the stocks news video that is coming out this week. And I'll be watching closely to see how Intel is going to report earnings on Thursday. Now for the next company that reported earnings is AT&T, and AT&T missed on the EPS and revenue. It missed on the EPS by 1 cent and it missed on the revenue by 450 millions. The revenue year to year is negative 3%. And AT&T added about 3 million wireless subscribers. About 2.3 million were in the United States. And now for the next company that reported earnings was Caterpillar. Now Caterpillar had another fantastic earnings. It beat the EPS and revenue. It beat the EPS by 68 cents and the revenue by 770 millions. The revenue year to year is 24.5%. So the company beat the EPS and revenue, but the most important thing, the company increased the guidance. And I'm gonna give you some props if you were able to get Caterpillar at the beginning of the year, because this has been one of the best companies in 2017. And now we're going to go to the next company, which is Chipotle Mexican Grill, and they actually missed on the EPS and revenue. Chipotle missed on the EPS by 17 cents and it missed on the revenue by 10 millions. The revenue year to year is positive 8.7%. So Chipotle actually had a positive comparable sales with 1%. Most analysts expected to have the number 1.2%. The operating margin actually improved over last year. Last year was around 14.1% and this year was 16.1%. Now the guidance wasn't that strong, That is one of the reasons why the company started to move down after hours. And just like I mentioned the weekly stock earnings, it would be nice if the company shares drop around 250 to 270. The company business for Chipotle is actually strong, but since we had so many incidents, that's actually what has driven the stock price really down during the last few quarters. And now let's go for the next company, which is Lockheed Martin. And Lockheed Martin actually missed on the EPS and revenue. It missed on the EPS by 2 cents and on the revenue by 640 millions. The revenue year to year is positive 5.4%. So even though the company share price moved down after reporting earnings, the guidance was actually really good. So the company share price might turn around and continue going up. Now the next company that reported earnings is McDonald's, and McDonald's missed on the EPS and it beat the revenue. It missed on the EPS by 1 cent and it beat the revenue by 10 millions. The revenue year to year is negative 10.4%. Now McDonald's reported a comparable sales of 6%. Most analysts expected around 4.5%. And the last two companies to report earnings was United Technologies. United Technologies beat on the EPS and revenue. It beat on the EPS by 5 cents and it beat on the revenue by 470 millions. The revenue year to year 6.3%. So United Technologies actually had a good quarter and the guidance was actually strong. The company expects to have a better EPS and sales, which translates into revenue. Now let's go for the next company, and the last company is gonna be Six Corporation. They were in line with the EPS and they beat on the revenue. The company beat on the revenue by 0.04 millions. The revenue year to year is 9.7%. And that is gonna be everything for the video. Please leave in the comment section below if you have any companies mentioned in this video. I do have shares in AMD and the company continued to disappoint in the guidance. You can subscribe to the financial information channel. I'm going to continue bringing videos about the stock market, personal finance, and how to make money online. I'm going to thank you once again for watching the video. Have an excellent day and take care, my friends.